Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore. I'm awake on a Friday morning, barely, as I'm trying to speak above the loud music. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Godzilla Minus One. It's here. Plus, Silent Night. John Woo is back with a holiday movie. Well, kind of a holiday movie. Also, early reviews of Poor Things and The Iron Claw. Plus, the director of Common Ground, a film that Alan reviewed last week. We have the director on for an interview at the end of the show, and trailer reactions to a bunch of trailers that dropped that some of them you know about, and one of them at least I know you do not know about. And I think you're going to be excited to hear about this movie. So much to discuss, plus your chat comments and questions. And some of the questions I've previewed, and they're not great. They're not very good questions. I'll tell you why when we get to it. All right, let's start the show. Let me see if Alan is even here yet. He seems to be late every single show. You can read these questions if you can't see them. No. Wait. I have something else right here.
Just when you thought all hope was lost, the whole world had gone woke. Then along came a new breed of hero. The Spanish Fly. The Irish Beacon. Dark Puma. Ng the Merciless. Captain Mercer. And together they form the non-woke Avengers.
Alan! Well, there he is. Ng the Merciless. I guess that's now your nickname is Ng the Merciless.
I believe it is.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
My pal Al has been long gone.
Can you change your name on Twitter to Ng the Merciless?
No, because like I've worked real hard to find as many my pal Al's as I could, and I'm not giving it up.
Well, it's better than Artie Farty or whatever. But
yeah, Arthur Farty.
Arthur Farty, that's right. And I guess this is me right here. Captain Merca. I'll take it, whatever. But this is the memes are flying fast and furious now. There's you as Ng the Merciless. I think that's Gary as some sort of random warrior, and that has to be X-Ray Girl there, which you guys met last night.
Yeah, I had a family reunion. 30 years in the making, and too bad her mom couldn't be there, but her mother left long before she was born. So.
Well, I mean, to be fair, 30 years ago you sent her out to get cigarettes, yeah, and now you're reunited. Yeah. So here you go. All right, there's a reason
it was a lot of fun. I'll just say we had a blast yesterday. Picked her up at the airport along with other people. So, the Comicon is going to be a great weekend.
It's going to be a great weekend at LA Comicon. We had a sort of impromptu meetup. We really just promoted it that day. It was like, if anybody's interested, we're going to go to the 35er bar in Pasadena. So a bunch of people came out. I want to say thank you to everyone who made it out. And for those of you that didn't make it out, you missed a really good time. So enjoy the FOMO, but it was a blast. It was really fun. Gary was there, Mrs. Nerdrotic, X-Ray Girl, Carlin, Dante James from Verbal Riot Show, Paulie Latino Slant, and Ng the Merciless and myself. Yeah. We were all there. all there last night. So there you go. How you left early? You bolted early.
Well, I mean, 10:30. 10:30 is early.
That's early to me.
I know.
I think I left around midnight.
It's late for old people like me.
I left around midnight, but had a great time. Let's see who's in the chat here before we get things started, because we have a lot of movies to talk about. Let's see. Smash that like button, says Mark Perkins, who's a member. Yes, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, because we are almost just 400 away from 100,000.
Really? I didn't realize we were that close.
Yeah, here it is. Sons and Shadows says less than 500 subs to go.
Oh my God.
If you haven't subbed, do it. Yes, sub. Robert Paul Champagne, the Furiosa trailer looked pretty amazing, to be honest. We're going to look at it. Red Dave, hola, FT. Great to see Alan reunited with his daughter. Hail, FT. I think there are photos on social media.
Yeah, go to Extra Girls account. You'll see it.
Marco CCS65. Is that a PM? Is that a, what do they call that? A color that you pick?
Oh, a Pantone color?
Pantone color? I don't know. FT sprinting towards 100,000. Awesome. And Flav, member for 4 months, says, who doesn't love a freebie evening, chaps? Evening to you. Let's see. Sons and Shadows. Is Chris pre-coffee this morning or pre-drunk? Well, when you wake up and your burps taste like the hard seltzer you were drinking last night, I would say a little bit of both. So, yeah.
Post-drunk and pre-coffee. That's where you're at.
Post-drunk, pre-coffee. I have 2 cups of coffee sitting here. One of them in a very timely Godzilla mug, which, there you go.
Yeah, I believe that's the wrong movie.
Wrong movie, but the right mug for that. Eric Stratton. Wait, Gary is there? Might be a late start. Yeah, well, Gary is in Pasadena. It's rubbed off on me. So there you go. I'm doing FNT today. Literally an hour after Alan and I finish, I'm going to be on FNT, and it's going to be rough. I might change my shirt. Who knows?
No, I mean, if we hit 100,000 while you're on FNT, I'm not going to be, I won't be able to be around for it.
Yeah, that'll be a bummer. Brock Samsonite says, in Poor Things, Bella is a Frankenstein-type monster discovering life for the first time. In Lisa Frankenstein, it looks more like a girl trying to destroy and rebuild a guy into who she wants him to be. Accurate. Mike MC Wong says he was planning to be there at 6 from what he told me yesterday. Yes, that is at LA Comicon. LA Comicon opens today at 4 p.m. But I do need to do things like shower and eat. So I'll get there. I'll be there no later than 6. But please, if you are going to LA Comic-Con and you're one of the people that's in the group you are on your own schedule. You know when I am doing my panels, and we'll show them to you here, right here. I've got 3 panels 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. Please attend the panels. You can check on the social media on the community tab for our channel. I posted this 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, December 2nd is The Death of the Modern Franchise. 3:30 p.m. is Indie Filmmaker Survival Guide. And Sunday we have a panel, Why 99% of Movies Today Are Garbage. That's at room 2. That's at 2:30 p.m. All the panels are in room 308AB.
And we will be there for sure.
We will be there for sure. But all of my other plans, and in fact, all of your other plans, are all up to you. I am not a wrangler or an organizer or the head of things. I am the head of myself. And I let my friends know what I'm doing. But in terms of I'm not wrangling anybody. That's why we have people like Britton. Britton is the wrangler. I am not. I am not a wrangler. You are in control of your own whatever you're doing.
Feel free to walk the exhibit hall, see other panels.
There is so much to do. I can't plan anything, and I can't plan anything for you. I can only say, here's what I'm doing, and everyone is welcome to be a part of it. But there are 30, 40 people going. I'm not in charge. I am not the leader. I am not the leader of things. I will be there no later than 6 p.m. because it opens at 4 p.m. If you want to go and wait in a line for 2 hours, you can get there early. I will not be doing that. I'm going to walk right in at 6 p.m. ish. I say ish because it might be a little before, might be a little after. Obviously, I haven't had coffee because you can hear how cranky I am. I was having a great time.
Yeah, we're never going to hit 100,000 by now.
Yeah. Everyone's like, who is this a-hole? There is no way I'm subscribing to this channel. So there you go. Want Biscuit says Chris is less Wrangler and more Levi's. Well, fair point. So, but let's get right into it because we have so much to talk about. So, we have some trailer reactions we're going to do. We have 3 trailers to look at back to back. We're gonna look at them very quickly. So, and then react to them. And I'm really excited because I know, Alan, I don't think you've seen 2 of these trailers at least.
I believe I've seen them all.
Well, let's pretend you haven't.
Okay, no, I've not seen any of them. I'm gonna react to this because I've never seen them, and you'll get a fresh and honest response from me. That's what you wanted me to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's look at the Furiosa trailer because it looks really good. You might have to mute me, Alan.
Okay. You were fine last time, so I think you
okay. Just we're gonna look at it. Also, we're gonna get dinged for this because it's Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
But let's take a look because everyone's doing a trailer reaction, and we're gonna talk about it. So let me share screen here. Make sure the audio is and here we go.
Yeah, I mean, the appeal of the original movies was it was on film and it was all practical. I'm just not impressed with the CG here, especially that opening CG. And I get it; it was meant for effect, and it was meant to bring the titles out and give you. But that CG right up front just looked cartoonish.
It's a little more CG than the last
film. Yeah, and maybe that's not going to be in the movie, and then maybe that CG was meant specifically for this trailer. But it's like we know the difference between practical and digital, and I long for practical. I think I would take practical over digital at any time.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I buy Charlize Theron as Furiosa. I'm not sure I buy Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa.
Well, she's
maybe he sees something in her that I don't, and that it will be revealed in the movie. But by the trailer, I'm not that impressed with her as Furiosa.
Well, she's not Furiosa yet. This is like Batman Begins, right? If you think about it, it's the early stages. How did she become this? I mean, it could be an interesting story. I just hope it's not too digital. And we've seen some directors. We were talking about Ferrari on Wednesday, and we've seen some directors when they're in their prime, they're amazing. Is this going to be George Miller in his prime? We'll find out. So, we got some super chats here, comments. Let's get right to them. Hey guys, if you had a chance to check out the animated series recently released, Blue-Eyed Samurai and Scavenger's Reign, says Hellrats 96 for 10. I have not. Alan?
No.
No,
I'll say it again and again. I don't have time for television.
Well, the problem is that this is a season and a time of year when Alan and I are watching all the movies that could be nominated for Oscars. So our schedules are super packed. So,
in fact, just behind the scenes, we have to get our nominations in for the year this week. There's a lot of movies.
No, next week.
That's not. Yeah, next week.
Yeah. So
this meaning the following. Yeah.
But thank you, Hellrats. Always appreciate a suggestion. Slim Jim 491 for 50 says, I was sorry to miss you guys yesterday. Do you have any other meetups during the week to watch films together? Also, fun fact, I used to work at a super woke corporate ad agency by the 35er. I quit during lockdown. Best decision I ever made. Not at the 35er. I mean, I'm usually there about once a week, usually to watch, I watch football there. So you'll just see me there. But wow, that's a very generous. We are also at the AMC Burbank 16, generally every Thursday. We do happy hour at the Yard House at 5 p.m. and see a movie around 6 or 7 p.m. And check it out. Check it out. That's where we are. Thank you
I'm
for
at
that.
random theaters in Orange
Yeah,
County.
Alan's at random theaters in Orange County.
You know what is great? Went to see Godzilla Minus One at my local theater. And it was great to see people there.
Wow, that's great. But thank you, Slim Jim 491. That is awesome. We appreciate it. Zodlander for 50 Swedish krona. I think an Old Man Logan version with Mel Gibson sounds great. I would like to see Mel come back in that way. That would be cool. Rust in Peace. The first one was more about Furiosa, really, at least this one being more honest about removing Mad Max from Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because it's the title of the movie is like Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, right? That's the actual title. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Yeah. So no bait and
interesting.
switch. No bait and switch.
Yeah, it's not. They're just. But look, I thought she was a very good character.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was a very good character. More coming in hot. Let's see. From Red and Vadered for 5. Looks like it was shot in the volume. What made Fury Road so great that most of it was shot in real locations with practical effects and stunts.
Yep.
I would agree, and we'll see. Remains to be seen. It is a trailer. So, yeah. Zodlander for 50 Swedish krona says, hi, my favorite reviewers online. Keep the truth coming. Save my eyes from the radiation of bad films and series. And Eric Stratton for 777 says, Chris is saying, I am not Julie, the cruise director. And I knew the reference. It's from Love Boats. Love you guys. And sorry, I am missing LA Comicon. Look, I just think that when you've got such a large group of people, that everyone just needs to be responsible for themselves. And I will run into people without any planning. Just everyone go, I'll see you there. And I'm just, please don't lean on me to organize things for you. You are on your own schedule, and this goes for everyone. That's why
I can guarantee you we will not be organizing anything.
I organizing the panels and all the people that are on the panels. That's enough. And I have an award show next week. Please. I sound like, you know what I sound like? I sound like Ringo Starr.
Yeah. Peace and love.
No. When he said, do not send me anything to sign.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what he said. Do not send me anything to sign. Peace and love. Peace and love.
No, I'm just like, I want everyone to have a good time, but the good time is what you mean. I don't know what's a good time to you. A good time to Alan might be shopping for anime and eating pretzels. So he should do that. And if I run into Alan, we'll hang out for a little bit. And it's like, he's just going to say to me, hey, Chris, I'm going to get a pretzel. All right, see you later. So that's why everyone needs a Britain. Britain is the guy. I love Britain. Britain is the guy who organizes everything. If you want to know what's going on, talk to Britain. If you know who Britain is. And I love Britain.
So tonight we'll be there 6:00 on the Lido deck.
Right. It just, all right. Let's see a few more comments here. Matthew Hammond for 499. How did they make Anya Taylor-Joy look so unlikable in the trailer? I hope they do not make her insufferable like Brie Larson. I think that's impossible. I think that Anya Taylor-Joy is likable. She was very good in The Northman. She was very good in The Menu. And she was good in that show, the show on Netflix where she plays chess. Queen's Gambit. She was very good in that. Like, I think she is likable.
Yeah, that might be the problem. Is she's likable?
Well, yeah, she's also
she flip the switch. That's the
can
problem.
she flip the switch? Like, she also she seems kind of tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, will you buy her as someone who could, like, be?
Yeah, I mean that's my point. I mean Charlize Theron, embodied it. I just not sure about Anya Taylor-Joy. And again, maybe we're not seeing something, and maybe we'll be surprised at the actual movie.
Well, I think as a teaser, it's fine, and I will be there for sure. Patrick Lemire says Mad Barbie. That's good. Red Dave for €2 says maybe it's a bait and switch with Mad Max the Star. that could be interesting. Sanya Kumere for 40 of something. Have you watched Animal? It is really good. You ask us every week. We have not watched Animal. What I'm going to do over the holiday is catch up on stuff. But at some point that is going to make it into my, into my consciousness. Bush and Ryu Cat for 10. I gave up my IMAX ticket for Godzilla Minus One because I promised I'd take my friend to his dad's birthday party. He doesn't know. I'll take the L, gentlemen. Please tell me how good it looked on IMAX. We are going to get to it. Yep. But we got a couple more trailer reactions, just 2 quick ones. So let's do it right here. The next one is, and wait, okay. Alan, this is coming. This premieres, Lady Ballers premieres on Daily Wire Plus today at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I had hoped to have a Lady Ballers review. We will have a Lady Ballers review next week. It looks like a sports comedy by way of it's like Slapshot, right? It's like that kind of thing. So let's take a look at it. Let's see. We're going to share a screen here. Oh, let's see. I don't have it set up. My fault here. So let me get that. I'm going to get it right here and watch it. But from what I've seen, it looks pretty good. All right, hang on. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think non-controversial is the other way to describe it.
I think it's very controversial. I have thoughts on this. I'll save them after we check it out. So here it is.
In a world where women's sports is being transformed, the Daily Wire calls foul with the most triggering comedy of the year.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my God.
Guys, this is serious. Sports can be your pathway to a better life.
Well, like yours?
Please don't steal my catalytic converter again. Winning matters. It's the key ingredient in becoming a winner.
Maybe you should try it sometime.
How tiny.
Are you gonna move?
I am not.
I don't know the beat. I don't know.
That's the face. I know you're not a woman.
Hey, you don't know how he identifies.
If you can beat them,
What do you know about the U.S. Opens for the Global Games?
I mean, this to
You want
me,
us to compete as women. $5,000 prize.
it has that bad news bears.
join me.
This is the way
sort
the
of,
world is now. My 8-year-old daughter told me all
Slapshot.
about it. So a guy can become a girl with no.
This is very, Bad News Bears
So I can be a
is
woman
really
and
grounded
a
compared to
man
his
and
over-the-top
I
comedy.
can't believe it. Nice.
Right.
You mean when you're sleeping?
I mean,
Yes.
this is making fun of something that is actually happening in
We have
sports.
to get the whole team back together.
It's time
We're in. I'm in. I'm in.
to play
Lady Ballers. Man up.
The logo
like a girl.
with the little
I'm with her.
cherry balls.
I'm in my room. This is my room.
From heroes
Day one of being a girl athlete. I love being a girl.
to sheroes.
We could dominate every woman's sport. Running, swimming, soccer. I said sport, Felix. Ladies
That's
basketball, boys.
Tyler Fisher, one of the actors.
Nobody watches. Excuse me. Are these seats open? Never
I guess politicians make good actors with Ted Cruz there. Oh my God.
And tucking trunks.
No, she didn't. That's the biggest I've ever seen on a lady.
I don't care.
Lady Ballers.
One can even be trans age now, which provides Sheelix with a wonderful opportunity to relive all the experiences that she missed out on in school.
Streaming exclusively
no.
on Daily Wire Plus.
So it's
December
today.
1st.
Streaming today at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We will have a review next week. At some point, I'll get to watch it. Between
And I'll
now-
have to resubscribe to Daily Wire, I guess.
Well, just do it for a month.
Yeah.
Just do it for a month. you know. But look, I have a couple thoughts on this movie. Two specific thoughts. One, I'm disappointed that this movie isn't in theaters, that it's only on Daily Wire Plus, because obviously they want you to subscribe to the service, or at least subscribe for a month, just so you can see this film. I'm sure a monthly subscription is probably the cost of what would be a movie ticket anyways.
Yeah.
So I just don't think, based on what the Daily Wire has, it's all news programs and effectively podcasts, that it doesn't, like, you subscribe to Netflix, you have so much, right? So many different movies, whatnot, and they're all like, you kind of find your own thing. But the majority of the content that's on Daily Wire is podcasts, and it's political in nature. It's all political in nature. Is that going to get someone? Look, I'm not a political person. I just want to watch a dumb comedy, and Lady Baller seems pretty funny to me. Am I going to subscribe to Daily Wire? I don't know that I will. So I think that I understand the strategy. I think that ultimately, if this movie was in limited release in theaters, just like any indie movie, and came out on video on demand, one, it would make more money, and it could be exclusively streaming on Daily Wire, but also be available in other formats. Because there are some people that are like, well, you know, do I want to subscribe to the Daily Wire? There might be a stigma attached to that, because it's effectively a political, it's a platform. It's becoming less political because they just launched this Bent Key, which is children's programming. But that's the sort of my number one thought is, I don't know that the strategy will work unless you have like 20. Netflix puts on like 50 different things a month. This is one new thing. It's not enough.
Well,
Number two, oh, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I'll say this about it. It's, I'm pretty sure it was made cheap.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that the goal is to build subscribers and not to have a theatrical, box office smash. Because there's a lot of cost involved in distributing it, getting into theaters and promoting it. And I'm pretty sure that they're just saying that they don't want to deal with that cost. And so they'll just try, I think this is a movie that will at least get them, new subscribers for a month at minimum.
Right.
Maybe longer.
But in the Venn diagram of people who love raunchy comedies, that's a big audience. People who like to watch political pundits talk, that's a smaller audience.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I think
let's be real here. Lady Ballers is made for Daily Plus subscribers and conservative people, and not for teenage girls. And so, this movie plays to its base. I don't think it's really attempting to reach out. I think it's taking an issue that the Daily Wire subscribers are passionate about at this moment, and making a satire about it. And so I don't think, this is for their subscribers. This is not necessarily for the world in general. And certainly the response from the woke TikTokers and commentators and content creators is an indication of that.
The other thing about this is that, here's what I find the biggest thing. And I haven't seen the movie yet. I've only seen the trailer. The acting looks pretty good for a raunchy comedy. So you've got effectively people like Jeremy Boring, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh acting in a movie, and they're not terrible, which tells you maybe we've overplayed how significant good acting is, where you've got like these, I mean, I watched a couple interviews with Jeremy Boring. He said that they tried to cast it with actors from Hollywood who said, yeah, I'd love to do it. And no one would do it. So they're like, well, we'll just act in it ourselves. And based on the trailer, what I've seen in the trailer, the acting looks pretty good, which makes you think for a second, like, is acting really that big of a deal? At least in a raunchy, we're not talking about an Oscar-winning performance here. We're just talking about being in a cheesy comedy, and they were all pretty good in the trailer. Like, what does that tell you about the skill of acting? Is maybe people praise it a little too much, but it remains to be seen. Alan and I will have seen it by next Wednesday, and we'll give you our review. Now, the last trailer we're going to be looking at today.
Oh, do you want to do? There's a bunch of comments about it. Do you want to?
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's go to your comments then. But real quick, we have so much to. We cannot do another day where we just. Okay, we're not.
Yeah, we gotta get to Godzilla for crying out loud.
The Lost Tales, member for 10 months, and going and keep it up. Scott McKenzie for 5, can't get it distributed. They asked known actors who were even canceled would not participate. Made for $7 million, and Crane and Company, other DW folks playing parts.
Yeah, I mean, 7 million is pretty respectable, especially for a streamer.
That's
So,
cheap.
yeah.
That's cheap. Thank you for that, Scott. Bush and Ryu Cat for 2. If you've seen White Chicks, you can see this. Good one. The Quiet Lion for $9.99. Magic Wand hypothetical. You are each given the chance to take control of a major Hollywood studio. Which studio would you most want to fix? And what would your first executive actions be? Love you guys. I'd take over Disney. I would then I would put Marvel and Star Wars on hold, and I would plan the return 5 years from now. Alan?
I would take over Disney and I would fire everybody.
Well, there you go. That's our little fantasy camp running a studio. Phaser Wrist for 5. Shameless plug. My short ebook for writers, The Great Fiction Cheat Sheet by Adron J. Smitley, is free all day tomorrow on the big Amazon. All right, look that up. The Great Fiction Cheat Sheet. Also, if it's free, I'm going to get it. So there you go. All day tomorrow. Look
Free
it
is
up.
a good price.
Put it on your, it's a good price. Thank you, Phaser Wrist. Matthew Hammond for $4.99. The Daily Wire needs to spin off their movie division and make it self-sufficient without movie theatrical releases and later VOD and DW plus. Cast real actors. Again, they did try.
Well, you saw what happened to Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he's getting canceled because he's doing like a voice in a cartoon for Daily
Yeah.
Wire. Canceled. Who cares? Akanika, member for 16 months, says happy December 1st. Well, happy December 1st to you, Akanika. We appreciate it. And another for 2 here from Matt Guillemette says, what do you call a cow with no legs? Alan?
Ground beef.
Well, there you go. Thank you for that. I love dad humor. So, more comments here. The Introspect M looks like one of those irreverent 80s comedies. And if it was released back then, no one would think of it as controversial. I agree.
Well, again, White Chicks.
Effing book or Fing book. It's like all the cheesy comedies. It just works. Horror punk. The mainstream media are already losing their shit over Lady Ballers. I'm definitely watching it tonight. Oh, I plan to watch it. I'm with you. I want to see it. If someone doesn't want me to see something, it only makes me want to see it more. Patrick Lemire, Lady Baller strikes me as it would be a good skit or digital short. I'm not sure if the DW folks are good enough performers to carry it. Based on the trailer, they looked pretty good. Like, it's just like, and I'm not saying like, how great does the acting have to be for a cheesy comedy? Probably not great. But based on what I saw, it seems to work.
My fear is the Lady Ballers will cause the woke left to make movies bashing the right.
They don't do that at all.
Yeah, they've never done that. I'm just saying that this might motivate them to do it, and that would be
Why don't they make fun of people? Wes says, see, Hollywood should have already done this, but they won't. So the Daily Wire did. It will probably be dismissed as a right-wing movie. Unfortunately, dumb not having it in theaters. I agree.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a right-wing movie to me. It just looks like
probably dismissed. I think it has been dismissed.
It's a comedy that is ripped from the headlines and from real life, and it will resonate because this is something that, I mean, look, if I was I am a father to a daughter, but if I was a father to a daughter who was involved in sports, I would not be happy with what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, the important thing, politics aside, the important thing is there's a company who's bypassing the Hollywood system to get their movies made.
Yeah. The Morak says, Jeremy Boring said the distributors wouldn't touch it because it mocks the religion of trans. Robert Paul Champagne. Yeah, I think it would have been smarter to not have any right-wing politicians in this. Yeah, I agree. Don't make a right-wing or a left-wing. Just make a comedy for everybody. And I make a comedy that appeals to everyone. Thank you. And Christopher Kreisig says the owner of the Daily Wire said in an interview that they wanted. Okay, I said that. Yeah. So they wanted to put it in theaters, but no one would distribute it due to the trans issue. But see, this is what I don't like. I do not like a segment of our culture holding something hostage where we cannot speak freely, think freely, or freely choose whether or not to go see a piece of media. If I want to rent a film on video on demand or purchase something or go to a movie theater. I don't want there to be any intimidation by any group. I'm sort of sick of this. I think that led to just a segue on what Elon Musk, if you've seen the video of Elon Musk saying, go F yourself to Disney. It's the same kind of thing. It's our culture is being held hostage out of fear. And we're not going to talk about this today, but we might be able to discuss some more things next week. The Wish, we continue to receive emails from people regarding the Wish Disney issue. And it's infuriating what we've been hearing. Infuriating.
And it's filling in a lot of gaps that we have. So yeah, we'll talk about it more, but you want me to write that article? I'm working on it.
There's going to be an article written on Film Threat with verified sources, and we will go through the article, and hopefully others will look at it as well.
By the way, in regards to the outrage for lady ballers, I mean, I say it all the time, but it happened on both sides. And the one example I can think of is The Last Temptation of Christ,
right?
And the right, the religious right, which I was a part of at that time. The boycotts, the demonstrations, the pleas and threats to movie theaters to not show the film. It's just we just got to kind of relax, let people say what they need to say. You agree with it, disagree with it, whatever. We just lost that ability to sit down and say why we like something, why we're offended by something, or why this movie makes some points that we really need to start thinking about.
I want the ability to be able to discuss an issue in an intelligent way and not in a talking over each other 5-minute segment on a news show or yapping hosts of The View, which add nothing intelligent. No intelligent conversation has ever occurred on The View. And when it even gets into that realm, it's shut down. And let's get back to intelligent discourse. That's why I think that people are intelligent or even just fun. I mean, I think we have fun here. Sometimes we say smart things, Ellen and I. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes we're playing videos of my farts. All right, let's look at a couple more here. Rudy, okay, let's are these related to what we're talking about?
Yeah, grab Tom's there.
Red Invader, I'll sub for a month to DW Plus, same price as a ticket. That's my justification. You sub for a month. I just think if you love Lady Ballers, you're probably not going to find anything else like it on the platform. So there you go. And Tom Siebert says, dude, The Last Temptation of Christ was 35 years ago.
Yeah. And so here's my point. And I need to write a book about this, but everything the evangelicals did back in the 80s and the 90s, the boycotts, the cancellations, people casting out people who didn't follow their message, it's all come full circle. And what evangelicals were doing to the world is happening to them and us from the woke movement. And I'm just saying the parallels are amazing.
Well, that's something else that we need to look at here. Another trailer. So we're going to pivot and we're going to talk about a documentary. And I believe we have a review of this. It played at South by Southwest. Am I right, Alan?
Yes.
So this film played at South by Southwest. It's a filmmaker that I know, a filmmaker named Jeremy Kuhn. Jeremy Kuhn is a producer and editor, and he's also directed a movie. He did a movie that I'm in, actually, called Raiders, and it's about the kids who made the VHS homemade complete recreation of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm in the documentary, which is a brilliant documentary. This documentary, we're going to take a look at the trailer. It's short. It's called A Disturbance in the Force. It is a documentary about the making of the Star Wars Holiday Special. And on our Film Threat Trailers channel, subscribe to the Film Threat Trailers channel, please. If you've already subscribed to Film Threat, we have two other channels. One is Film Threat Trailers. We run new indie movie trailers every day. You can check in, every week or other week and catch up. But you'll see trailers on that channel you will not see anywhere else. We also have a Film Threat Interviews channel. If you like our interviews, we've done a lot of interviews in the past. Subscribe to the Film Threat Interviews channel. Let's take a look at this. Alan, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
In 1978, Lucasfilm made a huge mistake they prefer we all forget. The Star Wars Holiday Special.
Lucasfilm is still saying Marvel shouldn't talk about that.
Nobody was allowed to mention this.
No, you don't remember
And it's so bad, it's not good.
You have to see the Star Wars Holiday Special to believe it. The Emperor said we can't show the special in this trailer, but rest assured you will see all the clips you can handle in the documentary film The Disturbance in the Force.
The Star Wars Holiday Special is sort of like the holy grail.
I wanted to see this more than I wanted to live.
We're starving as fans for anything Star Wars.
God.
It's so funny and so stupid at the same time.
We have seen something that we weren't supposed to see. How did this happen?
To find answers, we traveled back and experienced the insanity of 1970s variety television.
When 70s TV was bad, there was no description for it.
Oh my God. That's the Donnie and Marie show.
George Lucas.
Oh my God.
Ugh.
Let's not forget the Muppets did it as well.
The Star Wars Holiday Special. You don't. A disturbance in the Force.
How
A
the Star
story
Wars
45
Holiday Special
years
happened.
In the making.
Well, so, okay. Let's see.
You can pause it now.
Well, you got to subscribe to the Film Threat Trailers channel. Look at all these other trailers that you could be experiencing. All sorts of trailers. But let's what do you think, Alan? First of all, I haven't seen the movie yet. I will see it, and we are going to get the filmmakers on here. I want to get Jeremy, and I think he had a co-director on this. It looks
George
so
Lucas.
Good. We'll get George Lucas on to talk to him. This looks really good. I love pop culture documentaries. Obviously, I made one. I made one, Attack of the Doc, about G4 TV. So this looks really good. I cannot wait. It's funny, though, that they didn't use any footage, not any footage at all from the holiday special in the trailer. But variety shows, I remember variety shows on television in the 70s were awful. They were just bad. It was like a dead format.
And everyone had a variety show.
Everyone had a variety show, and they were terrible. Sonny and Cher, Donnie and Marie, and they were also like different. I mean, they were bad. So there you go.
Do you remember the Super Friends variety show?
Oh my God, that one was awful. A couple of quick comments here for two, says Rudy. Good morning, guys. Godzilla was so good. Loved it. And Phaser Wrist, hail the 199. Also, here's another 5 for Alan to say, I love 69. Alan.
I love 69.
No, I think you got that wrong. I think it's I love refrigerator. Alan, do you love refrigerator?
I love refrigerator.
All right. Well, that settles that. And Jimmy Francis became a YouTube member. That's a quick reminder to the more than 1,100 people watching us live. Become a member to the channel. You'll get access to our exclusive Discord. You can chat with everyone in the chat, and Alan and I on the Discord. Additionally, we do giveaways. We got like 2 more VOD giveaways in the next week. We recently gave away 4K video on demand digital copies of The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. So look on the, you can subscribe to the channel, look on the members only tab for all of our giveaways and offers. And
we both gave away Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, we gave away, I think, the Spider-Man movie this week. So there you go. Also, another quick reminder here to subscribe to the channel. We are close, so close now to 100,000, which is exciting. And a couple other quick reminders. We are having a sale at the Film Threat shop. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. You can get the shirt that I'm wearing right now. You can save 10% with offer code FilmThreat-HO. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. and check it out. You can get a we have 50 different t-shirt designs to choose from. I'm wearing this shirt. There's even, it says season screenings. There's all sorts of new shirts. Pick a shirt, your color, the style, and your size, and you're good to roll. So do that. And then also, we still have tickets for Award This. Okay, Award This is happening. Tickets are on sale. It is the annual Film Threat Award show. We award indie movies. Film Threat reviews about 2,000 independent films every year. Among those, the staff of Film Threat chooses about 75 different movies nominated in different categories like indie comedy, indie horror, indie sci-fi, indie drama, and we award them at a live event, which is at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana, California. Use discount code FilmThreat20 to save 20% off. It is unlike any other award show you've ever seen. Here's a little tease.
Independent filmmaking sucks ass.
God.
Never give up the dream!
Here's to independent film.
Thank you.
This is to all the dreamers.
We love you. Thank you.
It's a honor. It's awesome. We did it! Vindication! What the is this?
It's time to award this.
Oh, hey. Oscars, huh? Oscars can suck it! I don't even have a penis. Watch Award This at awardthis.com.
Now, if you are unable to attend, we will be a couple days later. We're going to put the video from the event on YouTube. So there you go. All right.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we are 460 subscribers away from reaching 100,069 subscribers.
Although you would prefer to get 100,000.
We're going for 100,069. That's the goal.
Right. I love it. Okay. And couple quick questions because we're going to get into Godzilla. David Nelson for 199. When is court back in session? Court will be back in session next year, probably in April or May, maybe later in the year. But here's our thought. After we finished Critics Court back last summer, we had a vote on what should go to Critics Court next, and everyone voted Star Trek. I think we should change it. I think Disney should be on trial. I think Disney destroyed itself, betrayed families, and betrayed the stockholders. And I think Disney, we should do Critics Court, Disney on trial.
Yeah. I think the charge should be the Walt Disney Company murdered Walt Disney.
Yeah. What does everyone think of this idea? Y in the chat for yes, N for no. Literally just type a Y or an N. But I think we should, because Star Trek, I just feel like it's not, I feel like that's like kicking a corpse. I feel like with Disney, there's more to discuss. And we can get specific about the charges, but I think that Disney should be our next trial, and it will be sometime. We might move it up. We might move it up to early next year. Who knows? We might be doing it in January or February next year.
Yeah. I think realistically February is as soon as we could do it.
We will make a big announcement about it. We'll do a trailer. It'll be a big deal, but I think Disney should be our next trial. What's the consensus, Alan?
It's overwhelmingly yes. And I think if we do, we should try to hit early as possible, because I think a lot of things are going to happen at Disney, and I think the trial will be relevant to it.
Okay, we'll look at
coming news. Yeah,
we will look at starting the trial earlier next year. Thank you, David, for your question, and hail the 199. Patrick Lemire, will Alan and Chris both get a 100K YT plaque? Well, Alan, how do we resolve that? Should we make it like, what we should do? It should be like the Stanley Cup. We're like, what they do with the Stanley Cup? You get to like keep it for a certain time, then it goes somewhere else. Like every member of a Stanley Cup winning team, they get added like a ring and their names are on it, and they get to like keep it for like, a couple days, take pictures with it and whatever. I think that's what we do.
I was going to say Hunger Games, but
Hunger Games. Alan and I can fight over it. Or we can let everyone vote. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I mean, if you can get 2 plaques, I would.
Yeah,
actually
we can get 2
one.
plaques. We'll definitely try to get 2 plaques.
Yeah, we'll do that. But thank you. And Bush and Cat, Star Wars Holiday Special was way better than anything Disney Star Wars because they got Harvey Korman, the GOAT. And Bush and Cat goes on to say for 2, did you get Chris Rock and Will Smith for the award show? No, but we do have. I can announce our host for the show, comedian Lila Hart. We haven't announced this on social media or anything yet, but we've been talking and it's going to work out. Lila Hart is our host for the show, along with our announcer, John Bailey, epic voice guy. So there you go. Breaking news. We got to get to Godzilla, folks. We got to get to Godzilla. So let's pivot. Let's pivot here. Wait, there was something else.
I was saying, I like the trend.
Let's go, Alan. Let's go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the trend that we've been doing of not talking about what's on the thumbnail.
We are talking about it. We are talking about it. Just so I like, it's so funny. Like someone called me out in a comment on our video saying, why is it that every Godzilla fan feels the need to qualify how long they've been a Godzilla fan and describe their love for Godzilla? Because we do. It's been around for 70 years as I drink from a Godzilla mug, and I have a bootleg Godzilla Lego figure that you can see. I don't know if you can see it right here, but this is bootleg. It doesn't actually exist. But yeah, I've been a long time Godzilla fan since I was a kid. There have been more serious Godzilla movies, of course. The original as it was made, black and white, the original Japanese film, is a classic. And if you've seen the original, you should see the original subtitled version and the Raymond Burr version to see how much they changed it. They added Raymond Burr, of course, for the US release. And Godzilla, the fact that Godzilla has sustained as a franchise, the only other thing you could compare it to is maybe James Bond, but they've made more Godzilla movies than they've made James Bond movies. But this is a franchise that has existed since the 50s and is going strong. And guess what? And we'll see with the test of time. For my money, this is the best Godzilla movie ever made for a couple reasons. One is you're fully engaged in the human story. The story of the human characters is just as compelling as the threat of Godzilla itself. The director, Takashi Yamazaki, made this film for $15 million. Hollywood should be ashamed that this movie was made for $15 million. Now, Takashi Yamazaki, I've watched a whole bunch of videos of him talking about making the film. He is also the VFX supervisor. So when you have someone who actually understands visual effects as the director of the movie, rather than, well, I'm just going to shoot you against a green screen and send it off to the VFX people to do it. No, you need a marriage of the person who's making the movie, the director, to have an innate understanding of it. But the story of a young kamikaze pilot who basically fails at his job, wants to live, and is burdened with the guilt of he did not fulfill his duty, and was partially also responsible for seeing a smaller version of Godzilla. Most of this is in the trailer and the reviews. There's a smaller version of Godzilla that's like 25 feet high that then grows to massive size after nuclear bombs are let off in the ocean. It grows to a monstrous mutated version of that creature. And it's set in, of course, it's a period piece set in post-World War II Japan during the Reconstruction. The main character ends up befriending a woman who has basically adopted a young child that was left on the street, orphaned, and they form sort of a broken family. And in the midst of this, Godzilla reappears in the form of a monstrous, mutated, giant form of Godzilla that we're familiar with. The story itself is filled with pathos, likable characters, and it's effectively a Japanese melodrama, which is what the first movie was. The very first black and white film from 1954 was a melodrama. This is also a melodrama with high stakes. And there's a scene with a boat on the ocean where they're basically dispensing with the mines that have been placed around Japan. They've got this little wooden tugboat. And there is a scene right out of Jaws that is frightening. Godzilla is not just a force of nature, actually scary. And there's so many amazing things to praise about this film, not just the visual effects, the portrayal of Godzilla, the massive carnage when Godzilla finally comes to shore and is responsible for the deaths of 30,000 people. And you don't just see Godzilla crash into a building and sort of like, you assume there are people in there. You see people. You see people meet an end and meet their fate. And it's horrific what you see. And they've added a little bit to the lore where Godzilla has something of a healing ability, not unlike Wolverine. And then also when he spouts his flames, it is like a nuclear bomb going off. Absolutely frightening. They've done stuff like that before where his scales on the tail, like they light up, but they've done it in a new way, not like we've seen. This film is frightening. It's epic. There were applause breaks at the screening I was at, which was packed full. I cannot praise it enough. And the story of the young pilot, the kamikaze pilot, there's on a redemption arc to fulfill his duty is it's amazing. I cannot praise this film enough. A couple of things that stand out I thought that were interesting is you would think that the Japanese military would be the ones going after Godzilla. There's a great scene where a bunch of the citizens are together. Hey, our city was just destroyed. We need to do something. And a scientist who's he's a little bit of a comic relief character, but it's not like haha funny. He's just amusing. He doesn't break the tone of the film. They come up with this plan, and you see a character say, "We cannot get help from the Japanese government. The Japanese government can't be trusted. The U.S. government's not going to help us. The citizens, we have to do it ourselves." It's a very libertarian view. I absolutely love this film. It's a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I can't believe I am seeing the Godzilla movie I imagined in my head as a kid. It's incredible, and I hope that they continue the series with this tone and also with this director. It's fantastic. Rush to see this movie. Go see it in IMAX. I loved it. Alan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we can go back to my early reaction. White people, your movies suck.
Why does it have to be white people? Your movies suck? How about this? American? Wait. American movies made by major.
I would say Western movies suck.
All right, fine.
Look, first of all, this is whenever people talk about remakes and reboots and all that stuff, this is the perfect example of how to do it right. Because not only do you capture what the original story was, why people like the original story, but now you brought in modern technology and truly updated it. And you spent less than $25 million to do it. Hello Marvel, hello Disney. But the thing that struck me when watching this movie was the opening scene. When that opening scene happened, I was bought in completely. And Godzilla wouldn't even show up he was not even a thought in this movie until 15 minutes in. But it's just the image of a kamikaze pilot flying back to base, not fulfilling his duty, and you see the emotion of that. You see the weight that it carries with this guy. You see the shame that it's like this movie is a human story.
Yes,
and it's just his arc, the people around him, how they eventually come to his side. And the fact that that this failed kamikaze pilot is going to be the hero of this movie, and you're just trying to figure out how is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? And you know, I mean, this is that perfect balance of how you tell a great dramatic story with the backdrop of a giant monster trying to destroy your city and kill everyone around you. I mean, it's just brilliant in terms of storytelling. And you know, we, like I said, we have to submit our best picture nominations to the Critics' Choice Association this week. And I asked you, this movie qualifies, right? I could throw this up there, and I'm pretty sure I can. This is definitely my favorite movie of the year, and it just hits all the right moments. And so, yeah, like I said early on, this is a great movie. Set your expectations high. I saw Chrissy Mayer's review of it this morning. Take your girlfriends, you know, they'll love it as well, because there are just so many emotional moments for everybody.
Right.
This movie's for everybody, and it is a horror film. It's definitely a horror film.
It's a horror film, and it leans into humanity, and it's heartbreaking because every character is broken at the beginning of the movie from what they suffered during the war, right? So post World War II, Japan is decimated, and everyone has lost someone. Everyone has lost
everything.
Right.
And they're about to lose everything again.
So here there's this broken family where the guy basically, the lead character, and I'm going to pronounce his name incorrectly. Alan, I'll leave it to you.
Okay, I got to find
but there are interviews. The actor, it's the character is Shikishima, played by Kamiki Ryunosuke.
No, it's
Ryunosuke.
Yeah.
Shikishima, this character Kochi Shikishima
this is gonna get clipped.
What are you talking about?
No, nothing. Keep going.
What, you mean my terrible pronunciation? How can I? Please. In any case, Shikishima is so, like, you feel for this character. He's lost his parents. He's lost his family. He has this. He just says to this girl he meets, this young girl who is trying to save a baby, like, sure, you can sleep here, but they never really formally form a family. It's messages about family, duty is just so relatable. It's amazing. And I think this is going to start a trend. How do you
movie?
Yeah. One, good movies, characters you care about, And but not just that, it's the setting of it. They went back to the time when Godzilla was first made in terms of the era, right? It's
the end. I mean, that was the one thing that stood out. This happens at the end, near the end of the World War II.
Right.
The Japanese knew they were losing, and one person says, "I get it. You know, is it worth dying at this point?"
Right. Right. Well, this is the thing is, I think this could start a trend of, how are you going to remake James Bond? Set it in the 1960s. Make James Bond a total sexist a-hole like he is in the books. Make an X-Men movie and set it in the 1960s. I would argue
a Fantastic Four movie.
The Fantastic Four movie. You know what?
Restart the MCU and start in the 60s.
Started in the 60s when these characters were born. I just watched recently a documentary about Stan Lee that was on Disney Plus in June. You can still see it. It's I forget the name of it. And it's unbelievable the amount of creativity that was in the 60s when they created all these characters, and how Marvel survived certain eras, you know, and went through different eras, the 70s and 80s. I think we are in the dark times now of that kind of creativity. But the best X-Men film, I would argue, is the Matthew Vaughn movie, which was set in the 60s. So I don't know why they don't just, this is just a way to reinvigorate a franchise. Go back to the roots. They went back to the roots.
It's hard to lecture people from the 60s.
Right. It's just, and also it presents different challenges. I don't like that it's getting almost annoying, like every Marvel film or every tech movie, even like the Mission Impossible movies, everything is like a tech device that does this with a 3D screen. And like, it's I don't know. And then you always have to explain why, oh, my cell phone doesn't work, or I've only got 10% battery. There's our ticking clock. It's lame. I like going back to an era where technology was a challenge.
You know what? You bring this up, but someone asked in the early review, but you know, the Japanese weren't supposed to have a naval fleet,
right?
And they explained it in this way.
Yes,
and it was plausible. I mean, the cleverness of the story itself. They were able to look. It's not perfect. I'm sure there's holes. I'm not thinking of any plot holes at the moment, but you know, they explained as much as they could to make this movie, you know, feel like it could actually have worked in the early days of the New Japan at that point.
Yeah, I cannot praise this film highly enough. A director who is a visual effects supervisor, who is who understands tone. That I think is the thing that makes this film. And I have seen serious Japanese dramas. This is just it's like you could cut Godzilla out of this and it would still be an interesting story because you care about these characters. That's an interesting story unto itself. Throw Godzilla in the mix and it takes on epic proportions. So strong recommendation. And this movie is on my top 10 list for the year. So there you go.
By the way, when that little girl cried, it was heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking because I mean,
we've seen it. We've seen that. We've seen babies cry like that.
Yeah. So let's go to your comments and questions here. Bush and Ryu Cat for 2.
We got that one.
We got that one. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, Bush and Ryu Cat became a YouTube member. Thank you for that. Zach Trammell, member for 14 months, says, releasing my first feature today. We edited this for years while watching the stream. So many memories with you guys attached to this film. Love you all. Well, Zach, make sure to send it to us.
Yeah.
Go to filmthreat.com. There's a little button that says submit in the corner. Send us your movie. Thank you, Zach. That's awesome. Red Invader for 2. Frank, what's the Caucasian representation? Lol.
You didn't see the white-haired guy with a banjo and an arrow through his head in the background?
Yeah, Steve Martin. Hey, Phaser Wrist gifted not just one, like 10 Film Threat memberships. He keeps doing it. Thank you, Phaser Wrist.
Yeah, thank you.
And everyone in the chat, thank Phaser Wrist if you got a Film Threat membership. If you're not a member, when you gift it, it goes to the next person that's in the comments. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Phaser Wrist, for that. That is amazing. We appreciate it. And Sons and Shadows gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. That's awesome. Thank you. Jazzy Johnson. My 10-year-old son loves Godzilla. As a Christian, is this okay to take him to see? Alan?
Yeah, that's a very specific question. I mean, as a father, if your son can handle, monster-like violence, absolutely. There's heart behind this story.
I'd say it's borderline. You may want to see it first. There are some kids that can handle. I mean, you have the version of Godzilla like actually eating people, like crunching on.
This is not a guy in a suit.
It's not a guy in a suit. It is, and I think he could be scared from it. So if I were you, I mean, unless your son if he loves the previous Godzilla movies, he's probably familiar, but this is the most realistic Godzilla movie we've ever seen. And this is I'll just say this. I'm not a fan of the legendary Godzilla movies. I think they're overrated. I think that the tone of it, they just didn't handle it right. So not a fan.
But again, we're talking the 50s and 60s.
Right. Phaser Wrist is on fire. Gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. Thank you for that.
But I think the point is, if you feel like your 10-year-old can handle, disaster movie like violence, then give it a shot. But just realize it is a violent movie.
I would say if 12 or 13, probably, but 10 might have nightmares. Razorburn gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. The gifting is just out of control here. This is amazing. More comments and questions coming in fast and furious here. The Quiet Lion for 999. Okay, so since you both chose to take over Disney, what's next? After you fired everyone and taken a 5-year break, I 100% agree. What's the first Star Wars project you would want to greenlight? Heir to the Empire, starring Han, Luke, and Leia. Recast younger people to play those characters. A story based on Heir to the Empire, but make all of it go away. And I would tell, I would do a Luke Skywalker, a story about Luke Skywalker, because we never really got it.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say a television series. Even an animated television series of the events after Return of the Jedi.
Right, the adventures of Luke Skywalker. How about that? If you get, I got the novelization for the first Star Wars movie, and in it, at the very beginning, and a lot of Star Wars fans will remember this, it says, from the Journal of the Whills, Whills, never explained what that is. One of the things says that the species that Yoda is a will.
Yeah, and you balance the religious aspect, the spiritual aspect of the Force with the political vacuum that has been created with the disappearance of the Empire.
I mean,
you build an entire series on that, and then you lead to a giant movie.
This is what's infuriating about current Star Wars, is that it's completely devoid of the spiritual angle of what the Force is, and they've devolved the Force down into some mutant superpower, and they keep adding dumb abilities, and it's terrible. You've lost. I would add some spirituality to it. That's what made the original Star Wars popular. The Force was a proxy for every spiritual religion. You have to believe in it. And that's what made it resonate around the world, not just in Western countries, all over the world. Star Wars resonated. I'm talking about the original.
Yeah, and I would, in terms of a business standpoint, I would not be afraid to give creators a lot of money for creating great ideas. If it means giving them a percentage of the profits, give them a percentage of the profits, because you're still making money, a lot more money than you're making right now.
Yes. Yeah. So, sorry, someone's reaching out to me here.
I mean, that's the creative direction I would go. It's just give creative people a lot of money to be creative.
Yes,
it'll pay off. It'll pay off at the end.
Yeah. More of your comments and questions here. There are a lot. This is crazy today. Thank you, Quiet Line. Don Mac for 10. Hey, Chris, I met you at DC, friend of Gina and Shane. Hey, Dragon Con. The very first movie I ever saw in a theater was Godzilla versus the Smog Monster in 1971. So as a lifelong fan, I can't wait to see this new one. By the way, Don Mac, shout out to you. Thank you. I also saw Godzilla versus the Smog Monster in 1971 as a kid. My mom dropped me off. She dropped me off. I don't know if it was 1971, but it was in the early 70s. She dropped me off at the theater. I was in a movie theater by myself to see a movie, and it was a double feature it was like a triple feature. I saw Frankenstein Conquers the World, War of the Gargantuas, and Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. And I spent an afternoon at the movies, and it is one of my greatest memories. Ms. Peacoff, he says, thanks, John Richards, problematic white guy. Wait, why is that?
What?
Okay. All right. But thank you, Don Mac. It's great. Dragon Con, I will be back. I'm staying at the Westin. So there you go. From Rumble, Aid Ellis 24 says Japan had to come back and show the world and show everyone who is master of the monster genre. It's funny because this is in the light of the Monarch series, which I think is terrible. It's not very good.
It's too much drama and not enough monster.
Yes. Star Wars Marvel purist, you're 100% right, Chris. Hard reboot starting in the 60s. Let's not skip over all the good writing and storytelling that helped Marvel peak in the 90s.
Yeah.
Very
and
smart.
if you have to pay those original writers from the comics, pay them.
Right. Fing Book for 5. Thank you, Sons and Shadows, for my membership. Grateful. Love it. Bush and Mew Cat for 2. Which had better acting, Godzilla 1 or Cloverfield? Godzilla Minus One. 100%.
Hey, people are bringing up Shin Godzilla. You saw Shin Godzilla.
I saw Shin Godzilla. Shin
it compared?
Godzilla is kind of out of the chronology of Godzilla. It's a different story. I personally love Shin Godzilla, but it's like a different even form of Godzilla. It's like a Stegosaurus that stands up on its hind legs. It's a different design, and it's a different story altogether. But it's out of it's like an Elseworlds version of Godzilla. I still really love it, but Godzilla Minus One is much better. Rudy for 5 says, it's crazy seeing a nice family in a movie these days and a competent male lead. This movie did what a lot of good movies used to. Take notes, Disney.
Well,
and
the lead is kind of a wimp in this one.
he's but
broken. That's the thing.
He's broken. It's a story. It's a character arc. The Fan with No Name for $4.99. He's had a healing factor for almost 30 years. They've just never shown it in this detail. Movie was outstanding, though. Batman Begins for Godzilla. Effectively, yes. Well, what happens is that like Godzilla would go underwater, heal, and then come back fully healed, right? So not dead. In this, they actually show the healing. I don't think I've ever seen that. So
I also like the fact that in the middle of the movie, they just basically said, look, none of our weapons work.
Right. Like, yeah, we're screwed. Zodlander for 50 Swedish krona. I'm sorry, Chris, but I only have 2 references to Godzilla. Godzilla versus Mega Godzilla Space Titanium and the Matthew Broderick version, which I liked. You can totally go in blind to Godzilla Minus One.
Yep.
You don't need all that history. For me, that's just if you've been a longtime Godzilla fan, that's awesome. I have the Criterion box set. I did a review, a DVD Tuesday review a couple weeks back of that Godzilla box set. I love it. It's one of my favorites in my collection. So there you go.
Yeah, that's what Chrissy was saying in her review is you could take your girlfriends and there's no need to explain or have an understanding of the originals.
Right. And we appreciate Phaser Wrist. All those dropping so many gifted. That's awesome. Don Mack, Japanese Godzilla movies are better than American Godzilla movies. Bingo. Yep. I agree 100%. And Jason Rosenberger, a talented director, produces good movies. Shocking. Super chat dropped from Red Invader for 2. Is Godzilla 1 English dub or subtitled? The version I saw is subtitled. There may be a dubbed version that
I don't believe there is a dub version.
There isn't a dub version. Okay. It's only subtitled and didn't bother me. But also, like, you could not read the subtitles and know exactly what's going on. It's fine, but that shocking moment, there's an image in the background, Alan, of you with the woman. You see Godzilla in the reflection of her on the train, and then Godzilla comes and attacks the train. One of the most frightening sequences from that movie. It's fantastic. Brogo, I love Godzilla. When my brothers and I were growing up, we would play with the TV antennas, trying to catch the Godzilla movie that was playing in the next town 50 miles away. That's dedication. Well, Brogu, do not miss this in a theater in IMAX. Blackie Mir says, I'm usually not big on the human element because they don't get it right. This one absolutely nailed it. Can't wait to see it a second time. You and I are the same.
Again? Who said that again?
Blackie Mir? Wait. Black Weimer? What
you had it right. You had it right the first time.
Blackie Mir?
Okay.
What am I supposed to? Oh God.
Am
I being made fun of right now? It's okay. But the human element, yeah, they got it. Yeah. Dweez says there have been several very distinct eras of Godzilla. So a qualification of when you started watching and which Godzilla movies are your favorites is a good place to start with a review, I think. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been a longtime Godzilla fan. Just, I started with the 1954 Raymond Burr version.
But there was that era where he was basically
a friend to children.
A friend
that
to
was
children.
In the 70s.
Big round eyes. They took away all his sharp edges. He was jumping and dancing around.
Yeah. But some of those movies are really good, like Godzilla versus Monster Zero or the Astro Monster, whatever. That movie's had like a bunch of different titles. Godzilla versus Ghidorah. I love it. When I love the sort of team up. Mothra, Rodan, Godzilla. But that movie, Godzilla King of the Monsters, I thought was a disappointment. I thought it was too whimsical and it didn't take itself seriously. And the effects looked too digital to me. It was detached from the human story. Godzilla and Gadzuki. By the way, I watched that cartoon when I was a kid. Gadzuki's pretty dumb, but I liked Minya. That's my imitation.
No, I remember.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Godzilla's Revenge. Son of Godzilla. Patrick Lemire says, no one ever complains about Godzilla fatigue 70 years in. U.S. studios are so full of weak excuses. That is the comment of the day. Yeah, Godzilla fatigue. If Godzilla fails, it'll be Godzilla. That's great, Patrick. Thank you for that. That's awesome. And a super chat that just came in. MST3K's Godzilla versus Megalon says Japanese Demon Lord Abir Lucifer for 3. And thank you for that. The Alex Zorba member for 16 months. Asian films have not canceled storytelling. Bingo. Bingo. All right. We have a special guest coming on in about 15 minutes. We've got time to talk about a couple more films. So let's do that. Let's do that now. We're going to pivot. We're going to talk about a movie Alan and I have both seen. Or no, should we do Eileen?
Yeah, we can do that. I could do that one fast.
Quick, let's do Eileen. This is a film that I have not seen, but Alan has seen.
Yeah.
Alan, tell me about.
Eileen. It's a really horrible movie. Stars Anne Hathaway and Thomasin McKenzie. So what's happening here is Thomasin McKenzie plays Eileen Dunlop. She lives with her drunk father, who is a former prison warden. Eileen works at the prison, and she's been living at home for a very long time. She has all these fantasies, sexual fantasies. And while working at the prison, they hire a new psychologist, played by Anne Hathaway, as Rebecca. And Rebecca is kind of the femme fatale here. They catch each other's eyes. Rebecca invites Eileen over for dinner. The two hit it off really well, and there's kind of this tension that goes on between them. And then midway through the movie, as Eileen is doing Rebecca's doing her job as the psychologist, she has a problem with one of the inmates, and the mother gets involved of that inmate. He's young. The mother gets really upset and starts causing trouble, and Rebecca's job is in trouble. And so as this sexual tension is going on between Eileen and Rebecca, Rebecca does something very extreme with the mother, and sets off a series of events that just goes nuts. And boy, did I hate this movie.
Wow.
I think part of the problem is there are these twists and turns that occur at the end of the movie, and the problem is the movie doesn't build up to it. And so when these events happen, it feels like they happen out of nowhere. But then it happens a little bit enough to where people who say, who love the movie will say, yeah, but they said this and they did that. It just wasn't set well enough for you to logically conclude that these are the actions that these two characters will take. And the movie just goes off in this weird, bizarre direction. Characters make weird, bizarre choices that you don't necessarily buy that they would have made, and it feels like it's just an excuse to make a erotic thriller in a way. And there's no eroticism in this movie at all. And so it's just a very badly made movie. The story is badly told, and I used to like Anne Hathaway, but for some reason I don't know, I get the sense that she's becoming this actor who studies the craft, and who finds the nuances in characters, and is very philosophical and pretentious about the roles she takes. And this is just an example like that, where she just kind of comes off as too much of the great American actress, rather than just trying to be a great actress. So yeah, I'm fearful for the direction of Anne Hathaway's career, because she's got talent. And I've just questioned the direction she's going down, and kind of her approach to acting and the business. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, hard no on Eileen.
And we have no comments.
We have some Anne Hathaway comments, I think.
Okay, but quick. Well, Caveman Dave for £10. Could a Guillermo del Toro Pacific Rim style mech versus Godzilla film help get a point on the board for Western renditions for this amazing franchise? Love the channel, guys. I thought the first Pacific Rim movie was good. I actually really enjoyed it. The second one was god awful, terrible. So yeah, I love Guillermo del Toro. I think he gets it. Not the Batman said Anne Hathaway has always taken herself more seriously than anyone else has taken her. I agree. I've seen interviews with her, and I wish I hadn't.
Yeah, she did that one movie last year, and I can't remember the name of it. But during that interview, I should really post the interview because she really comes off as over analyzing the characters and its motivations. Okay.
Yeah, and there you go. And then the Daily Wire guys go off and they act, and they're pretty good. Davina Duckworth says, wasn't Anne Hathaway a drama kid? I think Tom Connors says she's not likable, particularly after her Oscar speech. Yeah, I would agree with that.
She was a Disney kid.
Disney kid, that's right. A One Punch Man Tolkien fan. Is there any scissoring? Asking for a friend. Alan?
No, but there's
Well, I'll just say this. Alan checked. There's no scissoring in the movie. Harry Anders, who's a member, says Ing being merciless. I love it. That's going to be, we got to get t-shirts with that. But let's pivot. Alan and I are going to, we have so much to review today. We're going to have to bump some of these to next week, unfortunately. But here we are. Let's talk about John Woo's new film. Let's talk about Silent Night. Alan, tell us about Silent Night.
Silent Night. So Joel Kinnaman here plays a father who is the opening moment is he's a father in a Christmas sweater chasing two sets of gang members in cars shooting at each other. He's chasing them down for some reason, and when he finally catches up to him, he gets beaten to a pulp, and his larynx is slashed, and he's no longer able to talk. And we soon find out that his son was just killed by a stray bullet, and he is under so much distress that he has detached himself from life. He is withdrawn from his wife, and he is basically planning revenge for the death of his son. And he has given himself till Christmas Eve to train and become a mercenary. And he's going to single-handedly do what the police couldn't do and hunt down these gang members and kill them. And I think the big conceit here is not only is it directed by John Woo, but there's virtually no dialogue in this entire movie.
Well, there is no dialogue. None of
their words are spoken, but they are inconsequential.
They're inconsequential, like radio or whatever noise in the background, but there isn't any dialogue. They kind of stuck with this thing where Joel Kinnaman's character doesn't speak because obviously he cannot physically speak. And then he and then none of the other characters speak. So it's a little weird. Like, well, why would none of the other characters in the movie talk to each other?
Well, that's art. It's the choice is art here.
The choice, the choice is it's like a, it's a choice that John Woo made, which I think could have worked. It doesn't 100% work.
Well, let's just say this is essentially it's a silent movie of the past,
right?
In terms of the way people communicate in silent movies, you see the mouth move, but you don't always get the full subtitles.
Right.
That's what kind of this movie is. And I will say that this feels much more like an art piece than it is an action film, but it's definitely an action film.
Well, it's definitely an action film. I just found it was a little slow in parts, and I feel like I really wanted to love it more. Great premise. Really great premise, and it looked amazing, but I don't know.
I'm feeling the same way. I think it's one of those situations where I think the gimmick gets the best of itself.
Yes,
you kind of wish people were talking, but then again, that may have actually made the movie worse. It's look, if you break it all down and you remove the dialogue, it's an action movie.
Right.
And the action's pretty good. I don't know that it's John Woo's best, but it's good.
It's good It's good action. I expected more from John Woo, and I'm not
and,
gonna.
and I would say we've seen an action movie like this from Lionsgate already, and that's John Wick 4.
Yeah, John Wick. The thing is this: we live in an age with John Wick. John Wick 4 just ups the ante. If you're not doing something, I mean, there's a choice here to do something different. I'm not 100% sure it worked. I'm not gonna give the movie a full non-recommend. I'll just say I expected it to be better. I did enjoy parts of it, but I would say it's probably a 6 for me at best. What about you, Alan?
Yeah, same thing. I will say this though, it's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard.
Yeah, true. Quick chat.
I mean, at least Christmas plays a huge role in this movie, and we're not
Christmas
talking
is a big
Santa
part of
Claus.
the film.
Yep.
So, quick comments here. Japanese demon lord Aber Lucifer for 5. Sadly, most folks go to Hollywood nowadays for money and fame rather than for the passion of art and creating.
That's why
Spidey-
indie film exists.
Spidey Sensei 72. Damn, based on this trailer, this is the movie I wanted to see this weekend. I'm not giving it a non-recommend. I'd say it's just not, lower your expectations. You'll have a good time.
Yeah,
I
mean that's the thing. I think we were expecting great, and what we got was okay.
What we got was good and not great. And so there you go. Also, you can see Godzilla this weekend. Jimmy Francis, who's a member, I went to the same kindergarten as Joel Kinnaman and his sister. I haven't followed too many of his Hollywood projects yet, but hope he's choosing good roles and doing well. I really like Joel Kinnaman. I think he's very talented.
I think this is a good choice for a role. I mean,
yeah.
If he wants to be an
Razorburn.
action star, this is a good role for it.
Razorburn. So what is better, Violent Night or Silent Night? Violent Night. Violent Night is more fun. It's dumber, but it's more comedic, but it would make a great double feature. Violent Night, Silent Night, watch them on Christmas. Long Kiss Goodnight is my go-to Christmas action movie. How does this compare? I don't know. God, I haven't seen that movie in so long. Alan?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember.
Trying to
I remember enough to make a comparison.
Yeah. Sorry, We did our best here. Bad Gamergate says, are there doves? I don't think there are. Trying to think. No doves. Maybe it was,
there's a reason.
I think he specifically didn't do doves as a way to as a way to sort of because that's I think what people expect of him. Ron Phelps says a silent protagonist just like Fool's Paradise, a buried treasure of a movie, says Ron Phelps, who's a member. Yeah, Fool's Paradise, we reviewed that a while back, and that also similar. It's not the same premise, but it's also a protagonist who doesn't speak, which I think is very interesting. So there you go. Do we have time? Our special guest is coming on in 6 minutes. I'm going to give you an early review. This is an early reaction of a movie that Alan and I have to review together. So we're going to hold on this. And
So do you want to do the other one then, or okay, never mind.
We don't. Poor Things. We're going to need more time to talk about it. We will. Poor Things doesn't come out for a while, so we will talk about. We're going to talk about Poor Things next week. I'm going to give you an early reaction to the Iron Claw, which is about the Von Erich family, very famous in wrestling. This is directed by Sean Durkin. This is an indie production released through A24. A24 has really impeccable taste, if you ask me, when it comes to the projects they choose. The cast of Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White. Jeremy Allen White, by the way, is the grandson of Gene Wilder. In addition, Harris Dickerson and Holt McCallany plays the patriarch of the family, Fritz von Erich. Lily James plays a young girl fan who becomes a fan of Kevin von Erich. They eventually marry. If you're not familiar with the real story, do not look at the real story until after you've seen this film. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. For a couple reasons. One, and we're going to repeat this, characters you care about. You get introduced to the Von Erich family. The father and mother love their sons, and the dad might love one son a little more than another. They all each have their own talents in different areas. But Kevin and Carrie are they build themselves up into physical specimens worthy of fighting in the ring and doing a move that the father creates called the Iron Claw. Fritz was a wrestler when he was a young man, and he's grooming his sons to be the greatest in the ring. It's about 2 hours, and it's a biopic of this family that is heartbreaking. Please do not look up the story of the real family. Do that after. It takes liberties with a couple of things, mainly having to do with time, but how do you condense this story that spans such a long period of time? But their career in the 80s, I think was, and Alan knows more about wrestling than I do. So you could speak about the Von Erich family. I love this film. What Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White did to their bodies to look just these pumped individuals is incredible. And just check, if you don't believe me, just check out the trailer. This movie lives up to the hype of the trailer.
Well, there's background here.
Yeah. It opens December 22nd. Alan and I will do a review after Alan has seen it because I really want to get Alan's opinion. I love this movie. I'm looking forward to seeing it again with a packed audience. And it's just, and also just everything about it. It honors wrestling. It puts you in the shoes of what it was like to be with that family. And it's a beautiful message about family and how precious those relationships are. You really feel it by the end of the film, what these brothers have sacrificed to be in the positions that they are. And it's just utterly heartbreaking. I can't wait to see it again. I would be giving away spoilers. I don't want to do that, but I do want to talk to you, Alan, because you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this, Southern California wrestling, that's me, was pretty much WWF at the time, but certainly
Right.
I knew the legend of the Von Erichs. In fact, they've been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And watching the trailers, it's like the Freebirds, Ric Flair, Iron Sheik. Crying out, Chavo Guerrero is in this movie. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And it sounds like they did it right. And so I can't wait to see this movie.
I can't wait to see it again. Zac Efron. See, I don't know. Here's the thing that I'm concerned about. This movie is not political at all.
Mm-hmm.
All it leans into is family. This is very much a family movie in terms of the characters, how much they value each other, how close they are as a family. They support each other. There's conflict, as would happen with any family, as they rise to be superstars in wrestling. It's I cannot praise this movie enough. I just want to see it again because the other thing I need to talk about is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is very much of the era. So when you hear like they use Rush in the trailer, it's in the movie too. Sometimes they use music that's in the trailer that's not in the movie. There is Rush music.
So it's all hair bands, basically.
It's all hair bands, and it brought me back to this era, and I cannot tell you how much I loved it.
I mean, this is the thing. It between why we hate woke movies so much, because we want movies we can relate to. We don't want movies that preach to us. And from what you're saying, this is something we can relate to. Godzilla is a movie we can relate to. And no preaching required.
Yeah, so high praise from me. And the thing is I am a very casual wrestling fan. Just to be clear, I am not a super fan. Alan's a super fan. Alan subscribes to Peacock just so he can watch wrestling. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, if you're gonna quiz me on wrestling, the territories and stuff, I have no clue. I'm WWE. MJF is in this movie as one of the Von Erich cousins. So there's connections between this movie and today's wrestling as well.
But I'll say this. I've always defended wrestling. This is what bothers me. Elitist a-holes will say wrestling is stupid, it's fake. I've got news for you. When you go in the ring, you can get injured. You can die from injuries in the ring.
Yeah.
Wrestling is a dangerous sport.
Legendary stories of people who died in the ring.
Yes, absolutely. And let me just remind you, anyone who would mock wrestling for being fake. Hey, I'm going to remind you right now why wrestling is worth your time. Because those physical acts in wrestling, they happen. And let me just say also, Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America, they don't have superpowers. They're acting too. When you're acting in a movie with a superpower, that's also fake. Now, some of the drama may be trumped up in the ring. Some of it it's obviously choreographed, but I dare any Hollywood actor worth his salt to try to do what any wrestler does in the ring. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, we will take on the woke movies this weekend at Los Angeles Convention Center at LA Comicon. Be there.
It's gonna happen this weekend at LA Comicon. But let me just say that what I love about the film, there's nothing. All it is it's just this beautiful story of a family that suffered a lot of tragedy. That's all I'll say. Yeah. We're gonna have a full review when Alan has seen the film, because I really want to take a deep dive.
I'm hoping to see it next week.
The movie doesn't open for 3 weeks, so
but
we've got time.
If I'm going to put it as a nomination, I got to see it next week.
Right. Let's go to your chat comments and questions, and we have a special guest that'll be joining us soon. Patrick Lemire says, when I was a kid, Fritz was a big deal, and his sons were still teens. When Fritz went to the Iron Claw, it was over. Of course, it's all scripted thing, but they really built the drama.
I mean, I hate to say it, but you know, if you watch wrestling, wrestling is a masterclass in good and bad storytelling, because you know when a story is good and when you know when a story is bad, and if you watch wrestling, it will change the way you approach the stories that you tell.
Right.
I mean, quite frankly, you know, there are two stories being told: the story that happens in the ring between wrestlers, and then the overall story of these rivalries that are built up over months and years and so on. And this is, you know, people, yeah, wrestling is fake, but this is basically male soap operas. And that's why it's lasted as long as it has. And that's why we tune in week after week to watch this stuff.
Right. Lord of the Film says Jeremy Allen White should have been Wonka instead of Timothy, Gene Wilder's grandson. Come on. And goes on to say, the movie reminds me of Fighting with My Family, the Florence Pugh wrestling movie. Yeah,
I think a lot more serious than that. Yeah.
It's more serious. Hey, it's me in HD says, no relation to Gene Wilder. Frank Gore spreading conspiracies over here. No, he's
Is it because he looks like Gene Wilder? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's his grandson. Isn't that true?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
I was told. How does this compare to The Wrestler, says James Willard? This is better. This is better than The Wrestler. The Wrestler is really tragic. This might be the best wrestling biopic ever, but I'll wait until Alan sees it. I can't say that confidently without Alan. Sean Who says Macho Man Chris Gore. And Mark Clement
Actually, yeah, he is not the grandson of Gene Wilder.
Is that true?
Because in fact,
everyone was telling me he was.
If I remember, because I just saw the Gene Wilder documentary.
Oh, did we lose Alan? Uh-oh, Alan. Someone's using your internet. Someone's using your internet. Mark,
remember seeing until his wife old to be his grandson.
All right. Well, I got that wrong. I stand corrected. The chat is always.
Gene Wilder got married late as a Okay, go ahead.
Mark Clement says, question for Alan. What was Andre the Giant afraid of?
I don't know. He's a giant. He wasn't afraid of nothing. He was afraid that Hulk Hogan would upstage him, which he did.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, let's see. We're waiting for our special guest to join us.
Mice. That was it. Mice and snakes.
Yeah, something must have happened. We might have to reschedule that interview. So, that's too bad. I don't see. What time is it? Yeah, it's 10:51. I think we'll just have to reschedule.
All right.
Okay. All right, folks. I guess that we're on a tight
we have a hard out at 11, right?
We have a hard out at 11. I am doing FNT today. So I have a hard out. I will be at LA Comicon today at about 6 p.m. ish. And I'm just walking the floor. Look for me. I'm the guy with the hair that kind of stands out in a crowd. So look for me there. And Alan and I will be there all weekend. Please join us. Let's see. You can, if you follow us on social media, you'll see that we've got our 3 panels starting tomorrow. Join us there. And a reminder, go to shop.filmthreat.com to pick up some merch. We've got a sale going right now. Use the offer code filmthreat-ho to save 10%. But we're going to wrap it up early today. Alan, what else? I mean, I would ask you what you have coming up this weekend, but I actually already know.
I know. I'm hanging out with you this entire weekend.
Hanging out with me all weekend.
And my daughter and my other daughter.
Yeah. We'll be there with
Oh, here we go.
Oh, wait, here's Josh. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. Let's do a quick reset here as we get things started. Here we go. Let's talk to, here we are. Just a moment. Bringing it up here. And I have to edit this now because we had a last minute change. So hang on. Be with your patience here.
Yeah. So I'm being crazy. Andre the Giant was afraid of mice and snakes, and that was a Princess Bride reference.
Well, there we go. All right, let's bring on Common Ground director, co-director, Josh Tickell. Josh, hey, thanks for joining us on the show today. What's going on?
Great. Thanks for having me. Good morning. How are you guys? This is awesome.
Great. Yeah. Oh, sorry about the confusion getting you on here, but you're here. And let me just say this. Alan did a review of your movie. I think it was last week.
2 weeks ago.
And 2 weeks ago. The chat was on fire about this film. And let me explain why. And my apologies if I gush a little bit. Okay. We are being inundated with propaganda about the sky is falling. There's no point. We have no future. The world is over. And don't even worry about, because the world's going to end in like 10 years anyways. So just give up on life. I'm tired of this. I think it's had a profound negative effect on young people thinking about their future, whether it's raising a family or choosing a career. It's awful. What is so incredible about your movie, and we could watch the trailer if you want. I don't know. I don't want to take time away from your talking to us, but my God. And you can find the Common Ground trailer on the Film Threat Trailers channel. This movie provides optimism, hope, actionable things that you can do. And also it kind of de-escalates all the alarmism that we've seen in so many documentaries and news reports. I point out that I have a copy of Newsweek magazine from 1969 that talks about man landing on the moon, also accompanied by a story about pollution is going to kill us all. And we've only got a few decades left on Earth. This propaganda has been around for a long time. If you go back and watch An Inconvenient Truth, inconveniently, many of the predictions didn't happen. Josh, you made this movie with your wife, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna stop talking. I'm just excited you're here, and we're gonna show your website and everything. Tell us about the movie and what led you to decide I'm not only gonna make a movie about the environment, I'm gonna make one that's gonna calm the conversation. How did you get to this place?
Well, I wish I could say we'd calm the conversation. I think the conversation's getting pretty spicy out there, actually. Rebecca and I have made 20 environmental films. We are environmental filmmakers. It's what we do. And we focus on solutions to big problems, specifically the climate. We are looking at scientific ways to not just talk about the problems, but talk about what we can do as a species, right? So our motto in our household is every problem has a solution. We have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. And so as parents, we have a moral imperative to make films that are what we preach. So if we have a climate problem, what's the solution? Well, clearly, we're coming up on the big COP conference, the big UN conference. I'll be in Dubai in about 48 hours for that conference. Clearly, the UN has tried to limit carbon emissions. They've tried, right? And clearly, Al Gore tried to get us to pay attention to that issue. And clearly, as you said, since the 60s, the media has been picking up on the sensational pieces, the what could happen if we do this wrong, right? And now we've got a whole generation of people who are suffering from climate anxiety. It's an actual psychological chronic condition that is affecting young people. And in colleges, they have counselors for this. It's a big deal. And so we have focused on the danger, the downside, the fear, and have not spent much time as a species sitting down and thinking about, well, let's figure this out. There's a bunch of carbon. We stuck it in the atmosphere. Where can we put it? Well, the options are limited. We can stick it in the oceans. We tried that, and the oceans became more acidic. So that's off the table. We could keep it in the atmosphere. Not a good idea. Or we could stick it, in the ground, right? Where else are you going to put it? Your options are very limited, right? So there are technological, highly expensive solutions that want to capture that carbon and stick it in the ground. And eventually there may be some kind of tech fix, right? And that's what they love the tech. We're humans, we're tool makers, we have hands, we want to make the next widget, and people want to make money off it. I get that. It's capitalism. But you can't use the same methods that got us to the problem and expect to get to the solution. You have to think bigger, right? And if we think bigger, we go, well, what's the largest mechanism for carbon storage that we have is plants and microbes. Way bigger than tech, right? Way bigger. I mean, that's something that scales, it's cheap, and it's replicable. Those are things that people in tech look for, right? But we already have it. We have the app. It's been here for 2 million years. And the biogenic cycle of the planet is self-healing and self-balancing. Now, part of that, you can say, well, if humans just got out of the way or we just had less humans. Okay, let's be real. Humans aren't getting out of the way, and we're not going to have less humans unless we really screw this up, right? But what common ground, what's interesting about the movie, and it's interesting about this movement, the regenerative agriculture movement, and this is the second film that I participated in with the team, and Rebecca as well is a big part of that. We're looking at how do we use biological processes with human intervention, because we still have to have humans. Humans are part of biology, right? We're not taking humans out of the equation. How do we incentivize biology to do the right thing and to sequester that teraton of carbon that we've put in the atmosphere? And the good news is, scientifically speaking, we can do it. We can do it in a short period of time. And the co-benefits are more nutritional food, more food, reversing the deserts, turning the deserts green, and making an entire world that works for 10 billion people to actually have access to nutrition. So, and oh, by the way, farmers will be profitable and will balance the climate. So yeah, all of that sounds too good to be true. It's not, because if you look at the stakes and you look at what we're up against huge businesses that are profiting from doing it the wrong way. We're up against an industry that has convinced us that the commodities that we're eating that are shrouded in shiny packages that are at eye level for children in grocery stores, that is food, that is not food. And it's convinced us that being a chronically sick population addicted to pharmaceuticals is acceptable, which is totally not acceptable. 9 out of 10 Americans are metabolically unhealthy as a result of the commodity food that we're growing in dead soil as a result of the chemical manufacturers and seed manufacturers that have monopolized this market. So the bad is so bad
right,
that we have to focus on the pivotal and powerful aspects is what is available through the solutions. And the solutions take time. This isn't a spigot. You don't just turn it on. It's not an app. You don't download it. I use the word app, but that incorrect context. The reality is changing farming is hard and it takes time. Right. But the farmers that do this, they yield better yields because when you compare yield to how much money you're putting in, this is where farmers are today. They're putting in way more money and the yields are that they're coming in under. They're coming in debt. So this flips it and they come in profit. So per dollar spent, they yield way more food. And yes, it's a 3 to 5 year transition. So all the benefits are on the other side of a very difficult industry that is incumbent and is corrupt, and a human population that has been convinced to support that industry through a constant drip of pharmaceuticals and junk food.
Right.
And so it's a revolution. It's big. It's awesome. Yeah. What's on the other side is shiny, but the challenges are huge. And that's what we explore in Common Ground. We go through the bad and we look at the good and we look at the challenges and we look at the science, and it's up to the viewer to decide which direction humanity is going to go.
That was the thing that stuck out to me the most was, I mean, you talk about the science of it, the extracting carbon out of the air, but it's also the political and the industrial. It's the fact that we as a government are spending money in the wrong places. And also you indict this idea of corporate agriculture, industrial agriculture. That's where you get into the regenerative farming process here. And and to me, that's one of the bigger things is, and you just mentioned it, there's a machine there that's so big, how can you possibly move and change that machine and make people realize that, we've been doing it right for centuries, for millennia. How are we so arrogant to think that we can change it and make it better through science and labs?
Let's take a look at the trailer for the film just so people can get caught up. I have it queued up, ready to go here. So let me get to it. Oh wait, I don't have it.
That's not the trailer.
That's not the trailer. You know what that is?
That's a different film.
That's different. What is
That's
this?
exactly what we're.
I don't think we have any semi-naked people in the movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a very,
these are advertising.
G-rated film. We make our films for schools and
Let's get past this trailer.
Your film is an auto ad now.
Powerful
Yeah,
production.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. We're gonna skip this. We're gonna go right to the trailer. Here.
What I'm about to tell you is a matter of life and death. If the soil dies, we die.
The facts have been proven. Roundup does cause cancer.
If you burrow deeply enough, there is a pipeline of money from the pesticide industry into those universities. They're getting the kind of science that money can buy.
Nature is the mother of us all. And if mama ain't happy, we're
But there's a way to save our precious soils. It's called regeneration.
Regeneration is not just restoring the land to the state that we found it at, but actually making it better.
We have added over 96 tons of carbon per acre into our soil. Can we mitigate climate change? Absolutely.
We're going to check the underwear in the regenerative versus the conventional soybean field and see if we can tell a difference between the microbial activity.
We've eliminated insecticides, pesticides, herbicides. We are saving upwards of $400 an acre. It works out to be about $2 million a year in savings. That is serious cash.
I forgot my suit. I feel like I'm underdressed. But if you are the people who can make a change, well, it's high time to finally get regenerative agriculture. Let's prioritize the farmer.
Out here in the fields, I found my meals.
It's a connection to the land. It's a connection to those that came before us and those that are going to come after us.
Sally, take my hand.
We can change everything. There's hope.
I said this letter is a warning, but it's also a promise.
So I'm gonna fight like hell to save your future, my children.
Because I love you.
Let's get together before we get much older.
What I love about the trailer is it's a little dose of optimism. And look, the celebrities that are in the film, I think, are important because they draw attention to the movie. I mean, this is also a way, you know about the business of selling movies. It helps to have celebrities in it. It means you're going to get in bigger film festivals. You'll get more attention for the film. Our chat is on fire with questions for you. So if you don't mind taking, we have almost 900 people watching us live right now. So let's get to some of these comments and questions. Lord of the Film says, what? Wait, Aquaman is in this? Bethel Game says there are no huge challenges. There are just stupid policies. There you go. And Matthew Hammond for 499 says, is Terra Preta an option to fix the soil and grow plants and trees in inhospitable areas? This is what allowed Amazonians to grow food in the rainforest.
I'll be honest, I don't know what Terra Preta is. I'm guessing it's some kind of either biological amendment or clay supplement, but it's, all of these things come into play when you start focusing on the soil. So quite possibly, yes. I don't know enough about that particular thing.
Right. And from Rumble, Adelis24 says carbon emissions are good for the planet. And another comment here from John Richards. Biodynamic farming is far better than petrochemical synthetic pesticides. One Punch Man Tolkien fan says, I need to watch this documentary. Where can I find it? That's important question. We're going to answer that right now because I already have what I love about what you've done in the marketing of your movie. And I'm going to recommend this to every filmmaker. Get a link tree. And what you do is you put all of your everything you need to know is on your link tree. You've got, you can sign up for the newsletter. You can buy tickets to see it in a theater. You can request your local theater to see the movie. You've got the link to the official website, all the social links. A link tree is such a useful marketing tool that everyone should have. I've been trying to, Alan, you're muted. You're muted, Alan.
Now back to the film.
No. I'm just saying I have a link tree for myself because I have so many projects. And can people, so is it in theaters or out on video on demand yet? How can we see it?
So here's what we're doing. The film has done 80 theatrical openings across the country. It's in the top 10 performing documentaries of 2023. Every ticket to the film is a vote for the film. It's a vote for the planet. It's a vote for the future. We're keeping it in theaters. We got 75 more theatrical openings in the first quarter of next year. Wow. And then it'll go streaming sometime around Earth Day. So, get to the theater. It's all on the Common Ground Film website. If you scroll down a little bit, there's the theatrical openings. And literally, we have 5,500 requests for screenings right now. So we're just going through those. We're building out a massive campaign for 2024. It's going across the South. We didn't do the South yet. So everywhere from like Miami to Phoenix, the whole thing. And then, of course, we're doing Sundance and South by Southwest. And but we've got cooler screenings, like the White House is going to happen, and bipartisan screenings in Congress. And so, we've just got a tremendous amount of demand for this film. If you want to see the film, first of all, if you're in the doc branch of the Academy, you can screen it on the AMPAS website. So it's available for doc branch members right now. That's free, of course. And then for everyone else, get to a theater or demand a theater on the website and get involved in our social, be on the social channels, Common Ground Film, commongroundfilm.org, Common Ground Film on Instagram, Facebook, and all of that, so that we can let you know as we bring the film out to a broader audience. And look, it's going to happen. It's going to get bigger and bigger. There's so much demand for this film. We've made 20 films. Nothing. We've never seen anything like this. It's just taking off. But everybody who clicks in and joins the newsletter, gets on that Demand a Film website link, everyone, all of you, you're helping to drive this.
Well, here's what's important about the movie, because we live at a time now where rates of teen depression are out of control, skyrocketing, because they're being inundated. Young people are being inundated with propaganda that they shouldn't have kids. You have young kids, so you're a father. You understand this is important. And this, I believe, not only is a film that is important for the cause, but is important for anyone that actually is suffering depression about the future of our world, because mega corporations are not going to save us. Okay. And I think that this movie has a kind of optimism that stands in contrast to everything else. Alan and I, we look at documentaries all the time, from doing Film Threat for years. And so much of these documentaries are funded by political action groups that don't necessarily have the best interests in mind. And that's what I love about what you've done, is you provided a very common sense solutions and some optimism, hope, and positivity.
Yeah. And we raise all of our money. We are effectively a very powerful instrument of communication, science communication, and traditional documentary reportage. But we raise all of our money from donors. Even Eric Dillon, who is the primary investor in this film, Eric, from day one, Eric said, I'm 100% behind you guys. You have final cut. You have 100% creative control of every aspect of this film. He said, I have one request, and we're going to put it down on paper. Don't make a movie about sugar. He's like, we've got 3 good documentaries about that. I'm not interested in my funding going to that. He's like, it's an important issue, but it's not this issue. And that was his request. And we had 100% creative control, and we still do, over the social media content and everything. So we get to do science-backed journalism, unfettered. That's very rare in America. Unfettered, right? So we get to talk to people on all sides of the issue. And when we came out in this film and we talked about like the plant-based meats, woo, people went crazy, because all the journalism that's been done around it has been industry funded, right? They're funding their own studies, and of course the studies say exactly what they want because they ask the right questions. And so we just asked former people that worked for the FDA, people who had worked for the USDA, and we asked the leading cardiologist who works with the White House, what do you think about this? Is this a good thing? Should we be eating this? And, the response was amazing. And so we put that in the film. So it's stuff like that that we're able to do, places where we're able to go as a documentary unit that other people wouldn't be able to tell you that story. And so we love the way we've been able to bring these films out. Common Ground's the second film. The first film's on Netflix, Kiss the Ground. You can watch it right now today. Woody Harrelson narrates that film. And yeah, we, as you said, we have used celebrities, but we've tried to use them in a way that is natural to them. Everyone in Common Ground, everyone who narrates, they're a parent, right? When Ian says, I'm going to fight like hell to save your future, he recorded that line with Nikki, his wife, here in the barn. We make our movies in a barn. Fancy, I know. It's a barn. And Nikki was literally about to give birth. She was 8.75 months pregnant. Her belly was beautiful and round. And when Ian recorded that line, she's standing right there. We have a shot of them together just outside the barn. He's actually saying, I'm going to fight like hell to save your future. And Ian has. He's been on red-eye flights across the country over and over again to be in DC, to be in front of Congress, to be in New York, to be in front of journalists. And he has been an unstoppable force because as he and I talk through this, he's like, there is no more important issue, Josh. And he believes that. So everyone involved in this film, they're organic to the film. No one got paid a dime. None of those celebrities took money. They did this for free because they care. And I think that's Woody Harrelson's about to like, you're going to see this incredible op-ed that Woody has written. It's about to hit the media. And it is so real. It is so heartfelt, but he doesn't pull any punches. He also talks about corruption, and he also talks about his fight and his failures. So, Common Ground has this incredible cadre. Yes, it has celebrities, but I tell you who the real heroes are. The real heroes are the people who are farming in spite of all the chemicals. They're farming in spite of all the subsidies. And they're just saying, no, I'm going to do this organically. I'm going to show you. When I met Rick Clark and I went to Indiana and I saw his farm, 7,000 acres, no-till, regenerative, organic. They said it couldn't be done. He is doing it every day, 365 days a year. He is growing nutritionally dense food. The soil is just building all carbon. It's black. Why is soil black? Because it's got carbon in it. If your soil is brown, it's missing the carbon. So we met people who are doing this on a real scale. Those are the heroes, which is why we've got a hero on the poster is the farmer. And the other heroes are the moms and the dads and the people on Instagram who won't let this message die and who are sharing it with thousands of their friends because they know this is it. We can fix the climate and we can fix our health. And we put all that in one movie. And yeah, we took huge risks and we're up against massive odds. This is a David versus Goliath story. But in the end, David won. And this is for our future and for our children.
We have we have so many. First of all, amazing. We have so many comments and questions here. We'll get through as many of these as we can because we got to wrap up, unfortunately. But a super chat here from William Summers for 2. How much CO2 does a link tree help offset?
Listen, every time somebody watches this film, it does offset CO2. Kiss the Ground, we showed it. The USDA, the entire USDA watched the film. They had to request permission. We gave it to them for free. It's free to governments. It's free to schools. It's free to small nonprofits. The USDA committed $20 billion to soil health.
Wow.
It's $20 billion. That money is going to a whole lot of farms, a whole lot of things that are sucking up a whole lot of CO2. So yes, we inside of Kiss the Ground, the 3 years that it got distributed, we went from almost 0 acres of regenerative agriculture to 30 million acres. Our goal with Common Ground is 100 million acres. If we get 100 million acres of regenerative agriculture in the U.S., that is 6% of U.S. CO2 emissions from one film.
Let's see more. Torgo the White for 5 says, just popped in, so I missed the trailer. You guys do any consulting with Joel Salatin of Polyface Farms on this? He's OG, been spreading this since the 90s.
Love Joel, love his work. Absolutely. He's part of the family, part of the big team that's making this happen.
Right. We will put the link to the website, the link tree, and the trailer in the description for this episode, and the interview, which we're going to clip and put on our interviews channel. Another question here from Rumble, BMO sub supporter, comment says, decentralize and stop asking the leaders to help. I do think you need consensus, and leaders can, as you pointed out, can allocate money to help. I think that's important. John Richard says biodiversity is essential to healthy plant life. And the Nerd Far Away says, another question. I'm of the opinion that climate change is not apocalyptic. What do you think?
I think it's quite possible that we're going to reach a tipping point with soil and regenerative agriculture. We have food is the largest biome on earth, agriculture. We control that. That is the biggest carbon sink ever. I think if we do this right, we're going to get to the point where humans, within a very short period of time, 5 to 10 years, are the ecological managers. And we're able to see on a big dashboard where the carbon is going in, where it's coming out. We're going to start to manage the ecology. Right now, we're driving Earth blindfolded, and we're gripping the rearview mirror, and we're running the car in reverse. We don't even have the steering wheel in our hands, right? We're just destroying. What if we took a very smart approach? And what if we started rebuilding deserts into ecosystems? We would have actually net carbon reduction. We'd have more carbon going down than we're putting up. So this is going to teach us how to terraform. It's going to allow us to use that technology eventually to do this on Mars and other planets. But we have to learn to be responsible stewards. Absolutely, we can balance the climate. That is an absolute. It is absolutely not apocalyptic. We can 100% balance the climate, and the secrets to how to do that are in Kiss the Ground, which is already on Netflix, and Common Ground, which is in theaters right now.
Yeah. Just two more comments here. Lord of the Films, who's a member, says, is China mentioned at all in this doc? Just curious because they're canceling out all our planet-saving strategies.
Not in Common Ground. Common Ground's very focused on the U.S. domestic and northern Mexico. We filmed Common Ground during lockdown, so we were limited on where we could go. Kiss the Ground, however, if you watch the first film, we go to China, and what they do in the movie is incredible. Now, China's doing bad, and they're doing good, and of course, sometimes those cancel out. But they have the knowledge to do it the right way, and we show that. They take an area the size of the Netherlands that is bare dirt, and they regenerate into a thriving forest ecosystem in Kiss the Ground. Watch that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, wow. There you go. Kiss the Ground, the prequel. And final comment here from Zodlander says, famine is sometimes forgotten in the environmental argument, and it sounds like you are addressing that great.
Look, if we do not get this right, we are going to have 1 billion climate refugees. Those are people who will also not have access to food. Why are they leaving their land? Who wants to leave their home? I don't want to leave my home. You leave because of desertification. Deserts are expanding. Our objective is to reduce the debt, turn them green, right? That's the technology we're talking about. It's nature. Nature is the technology. So yes, we can feed that billion people, and not just surplus corn from the US. We can feed them nutritionally on their own land using their own genius. And that's what we want to do. We want to empower farmers to farm, teach people to fish, right?
Yes. Well, I got to say, thank you so much, Josh, for being on the show. Congratulations on the film Common Ground. Go to commongroundfilm.com or .org. Just Google Common Ground Film and look up the link tree, which is also environmental. I have a link tree myself. I'm very, I think it's very useful promotional tool. And congrats. Go to the website because you can see screenings are coming up in your area. There's screenings all listed all the way through January, and you can request the film to be shown at a theater near you. Josh, thank you so much. And I think you mentioned that we ran into each other at Sundance like a couple years ago.
It was a night that may have involved a lot of beer and late night conversations about the future of, American democracy,
right?
And all of that. Yeah,
it was a fun drunken conversation at a film festival. Which, if you go to a film festival, that will happen. So
look, I love your book. It's part of
you.
the inspiration for me becoming a filmmaker. I will never forget the lines. Do not as I have done. Do not as I have done. get room service and charge it to somebody else. Do not, as I have done, get totally wasted and dance on the table at the after party. But we're filmmakers. We be a little rowdy. Come on, you got to have some fun along the way, you know. So thank you for your book, and thank you for all your inspiration.
Well, thank you so much. And I hope you come on again, because I assume that this is going to be a topic you're on top of, and we want to see all of your films. So thank you, Josh. Have a great weekend. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Take care. That was amazing. I knew it would be. And especially if you see that trailer, it's such an inspiration. There you go.
People like hope. People like hope.
Yes. Hopeful messages are good. We need more of them.
Common sense messages.
Common sense, not alarmist, hysterical. When Josh was talking about, the people being depressed over the environment, that's a real thing. I think it has.
I certainly see it in my own life and my friends and my family.
Yeah, it's turn off the alarmism, look for the optimism. But that's going to wrap it up for us today. Alan and I are headed to LA Comicon. Will you be there tonight or just tomorrow, Alan?
We'll see about tonight. There's a good chance I'll be there tonight.
Okay, good. Keep in touch with me, but we'll see you at all the panels. And thank you so much. Today was a huge day for us. It's very likely before the weekend is out, we will reach the milestone of 100,000 subs. And 100,069 subs. We have to get to that. Let's get a screenshot of that if it happens, Alan. If we're around to be able to get a screenshot. But anyways, just want to thank you, the audience. We had over 1,200 people watching us live. Our live streams continue to grow. You are a part of this show, and we appreciate you. You can sound my voice is not it's not 100%, probably because of last night, but it was fun hanging out with all of you, and I will hang out with you over the weekend. Look for me at my panels. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there you are. Did we miss anything? Oh, wait.
You'll be on FNT tonight. That's
wow. JTPRX gifted 20 Film Threat memberships. Thank you, JTPRX. That's amazing. Join the Discord now. Check the members tab. You'll see and check the members tab for some we do giveaways to members only of video of digital codes. So look for that. Thank you, JTPRX.
Did you have anything else to say about link?
We now consecrate the bond of obedience. Assume the position.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Al, it's your face that makes me laugh. Hey, just get a link. I will make the link tree for you.
I'll make a link tree. I'll just do it on my website.
All right.
This link tree crap.
Also, got to thank Ms. P Coffee. Ms. P Coffee is she knows how to party. She knows how to party. I have proof.
Yes.
And want to thank our mods today, Lord Thoth, Latino Slant, and everyone in the chat. Thank you for sticking with us. I'm going to be on FNT in 30 minutes. So we'll see how I do. But take care, everyone. See you at LA Comic-Con this weekend. That's it for us. Alan, what do you have to say?
Let's get out of here.
Wait, can you say it again?
Oh, let's get out of here.